All right, guys. This is going to be your daily dose of courage. This is actually for January 17th, but I'm filming it on January 18th. I told you guys I'm going to try to keep up every day, but there's going to be some days I just don't feel like doing it. Yesterday was one of those days. I kept putting it off, and then I just didn't do it. It only takes me a few minutes, but where I'm making multiple videos for different types of scenarios, I just didn't want to do it yesterday. So if you haven't been following along, we're doing 365 days of courage, daily wisdom, and then I'll sprinkle in a little bit of the pocket have-em-all. So for January 17th, dawn of love's light. Let the sunrise of your love end our dark night. Break through our clouded dawn again. Only you can satisfy our hearts, filling us with songs of joy to the end of our days. In the dark nights of the soul, it can feel like the greatest fight to hold on to the hope of a new day dawning. Even though we know the sun will rise again, the oppressiveness of our pain can cloud the hope of the relief we so long for. It takes courage to get through the long dark night when sleep evades us. May the sunrise of God's love end your dark night and bring it with the dawning of the relief, the joy, and the peace you have been longing for. Even in the midst of the great storms of life, Christ's peace is present. His love is everlasting, and it reaches you. May you experience the superior satisfaction of your heart in the balm of his affection and care for you. Your act of courage is sing a song that brings you joy, even if you need to do it defiantly. And we're going to do daily wisdom for men. The marks of God's people. Lord, who will dwell in your sacred tent, who may live on your holy mountain, the one whose walk is blameless, who does what is righteous, who speaks the truth from their heart, who lends money to the poor without interest, who does not accept a bribe against the innocent. Whoever does these things will never be shaken. Today's psalm notes that those who are unshakable are also those who are just in their actions toward God and toward their neighbors. Justice and righteousness may mean they are blameless in what they say and in their economic practices. In the psalmist's time, interest could be especially crippling and predatory for the poor who lack sufficient means to back up loans and who could be devastated with a few bad breaks. Leaders were especially susceptible to bribes because they lacked accountability and oversight, leaving the poor to fend for themselves. As we remember the legacy of Martin Luther King Jr. today, well, obviously today's not Martin Luther King Jr. This book was from January 2022, so Monday, January 17th was Martin Luther King Day Jr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day 2 years ago. So as we remember the legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. today, this psalm helps us remember the complexity of his message, which extended beyond treating those of a different race as fellow equals before God. King also advocated for fair wages for workers, better labor laws to protect workers, and justice system reforms so that black men and women were treated the same as white men and women in the courts. Lord, help me to live justly with my words and actions. And that is it for January 17th. Now, because this book's a couple years old, we are going to have days where we're going to run into stuff like that. If it's a holiday and it mentions a holiday, I'll just make sure to tell you why I'm reading it. That's it for today. You guys, I hope you like what I'm doing. If you do, make sure to drop a like. Comments are always welcome. If you're watching on YouTube, you can hit that subscribe button and follow along the playlist. If you're watching on Facebook, you can hit that follow button. And see you guys tomorrow.